Less than 24 hours after we learned DJS Secretary Vincent Schiraldi is out, Fox 45 News has learned Governor Wes Moore himself ordered the resignation.
So we had an agency that was depleted of resources, depleted of morale, depleted of personnel. But my expectations are high and my patience is low. So I instructed his resignation, and I'm really excited about the future under Betsy's leadership.
Now, this comes after Schiraldi told some media outlets it was his decision to resign. Good evening, and thank you for staying with us. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Mary Bubala. Our team of reporters is covering this major shakeup at DJS. Rebecca Pryor takes a closer look into Betsy Fox Tolentino, who's being tapped to replace Schiraldi as head of the department, including her background and her convictions regarding juvenile justice.
But first, Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost is live in the newsroom right now with what we're learning about Schiraldi's sudden departure and what was happening behind the scenes. Mackenzie?
Yeah, Kai and Mary, Governor Wes Moore says that was his decision to replace Vincent Schiraldi. But we're still trying to figure out what led up to this moment, because just last week, the governor did not indicate we would end up in this situation. The bombshell shakeup at the Department of Juvenile Services seemingly coming as a surprise. Just last Wednesday, Fox 45 News questioned Governor Wes Moore about Vincent Schiraldi's future leading the department.
You have to have a full understanding of everything that is taking place, because the truth is that one person is not responsible for the record drops that we have seen in violent crime. One person is not responsible for individual incidents or increases. This is a team effort. I'm confident in making sure that our team gets the job done.
Friday, Governor Moore met with City State's Attorney Ivan Bates, Baltimore Police Commissioner Richard Worley, and other city leaders. That meeting, according to the governor, was about summer coordination plans. Just days later, Monday evening, news that Schiraldi was out of the job effective Wednesday.
Secretary Vincent Schiraldi, who will be the outgoing secretary now.
On the radio, Governor Wes Moore says the decision to replace Schiraldi was strictly his.
This was my decision. I ordered his resignation.
The governor says searching for a new leader had been in the works for some time.
And I did it because, we've been talking for a while. I knew that I did not want daylight between making the decision around Secretary Schiraldi and also making sure that we have someone deeply qualified and ready to take on the role. And that takes time. But I knew that we had to be able to move faster. And I want faster results.
But he did not provide a specific answer to the question, what was his breaking point?
This is the House Judiciary Committee.
Back in February, Schiraldi was grilled by lawmakers about a report detailing the lack of oversight and tracking of performance metrics for programs the agency sent kids to for services.
All right.
There, we questioned him about his future with the department.
The governor has been consistently supportive, and as long as he is, and as long as I feel like I am achieving the kinds of things that will help make Maryland a safer place and help rehabilitate young people, I'm going to keep doing this job.
Has there been any conversations with the governor about looking for other employment on your behalf?
No, there has not.
We asked to interview Governor Moore about the Schiraldi news Tuesday, but his office said he wasn't available. While on the radio, the governor said he picked Betsy Fox Tolentino as the next secretary for a slew of reasons, including her experience both inside and outside DJS. He says she can help turn around a culture at the department that has been toxic for some time.
I believe under the new secretary's leadership, and again, Betsy really is outstanding, and I think has a unique skill set to be able to lead inside this moment and really meet my philosophy of urgency. That we know that under her leadership, that we have to deepen operational vigor within the agency, that we've got to improve the quality of the facilities, because that's going to help to drive better outcomes for our young people, that we've got to build stronger relationships with all of our partners, and that includes our law enforcement personnel, our local leaders, our prosecutors, our advocates.
Fox 45 News has relentlessly reported on the concerns within the walls of DJS facilities. Most recently, a whistleblower telling Fox 45 the Director of Educational Operations, Executive Director of Committed Programs, and the Deputy Director of DJS were all replaced under Secretary Schiraldi. The longtime employee claims these new hires had been connected to Secretary Schiraldi in some capacity in the past, and the staff changes inside the department had contributed to the agency falling apart, according to the veteran DJS employee. Independent monitoring reports repeatedly indicated severe staffing shortages had resulted in employees and juveniles inside facilities feeling unsafe. Governor Moore says building stronger relationships with partners, including prosecutors, is a priority for this next chapter in DJS history. Under Schiraldi's leadership, we've heard that relationship had been strained at best.
So it's hard for local law enforcement to build a relationship with DJS.
DJS is still the gatekeeper. They're the gatekeeper before, they're the gatekeeper when we changed the law, and they're still the gatekeeper now. That's problematic because, to me, that's where the issue is.
While new leadership has been met with praise from lawmakers and advocates alike.
Better late than never, that's what I would say.
Governor, thanks for finally getting around to something that we all thought should have happened.
Rooting out the problems that run deeper than the leader at the top remains the concern for many.
Schiraldi had lost confidence from even Democrats across the aisle. There's been mismanagement there. And many people that I had talked to today since this has happened, they all said, what took so long?
Do we need to start over, kind of clean slate with all new people as well?
I certainly think we have to make broad-scale changes at the department.
June 11th, ushering in the new leadership era at the Department of Juvenile Services. What that will bring remains to be seen.
Now, I've put in multiple requests to interview Vincent Schiraldi since the news of his departure first broke yesterday and again today. He has yet to agree to do an interview with me. However, he did speak with our sister station in Washington, D.C. earlier today. During that conversation, Schiraldi said while leading DJS, he felt like he got unfair media attention, even calling out Fox 45 News, while our reporting simply provided a voice for the community, who those community members were calling for change at the top of the department for months.
The media, the news media, was exaggerating juvenile crime as a proportion of crime and was covering juvenile crime more, even though juvenile crime was on the decline, and that Fox 45 was in a league of its own in terms of how much more frequently they were covering juvenile crime as a percentage than its actual percentage.
While Schiraldi said that, we heard very different stories from law enforcement and prosecutors on the ground. Just last month, I spoke with Baltimore City State's Attorney Ivan Bates about the situation involving juvenile crime, and Bates argued that he was not convinced that juvenile crime was declining. He argued that some cases may be getting diverted, and just because a young person was not involved with the criminal justice system, that the crime itself still occurred. And just last week, we heard the Baltimore City Police Department tell members of the city council that juvenile arrests still make up a large portion of robberies and auto thefts. It's this clear disconnect that we're seeing between law enforcement, prosecutors, and the leadership within DJS that we have been reporting on for months when it comes to the problems and the cracks between the partnerships with DJS, and that rebuilding that partnership is something that Governor Wes Moore says he wants the incoming secretary to really focus on during her tenure. I did put in a request to interview the incoming secretary, so if that does take place, we'll be sure to bring it to you. Live in the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.